Hi everyone, Neil here, back with episode number 4. Let me check here. Looks like 1, 2, and 3 have already been uploaded. So we are cruising right along. And I have to say that I'm really liking how this is progressing. I think things are a bit more linear in terms of the development of this. So, yeah, let's keep rolling. We're actually going to jump back into our GUI class. So, right here. And still receiving an error there. We'll get to that. First thing we want to do is we need to specify the image that we're going to use, right? This bad boy. We're going to be using this image as our background for when we right click on our oven. This is what's going to open up. So we need to actually specify that. So let's do that now. Public static final, and this is going to be a resource location. Then we are just going to name it bground. And this is going to be equal to new resource location. And we're going to reference neilcraft dot mod ID, comma, and it's going to be located in textures GUI. And this will be GUI alabaster oven.png. One of the rare times where we actually put PNG in. Let's import this. And let's make sure that our file path is right here. GUI alabaster oven. And it is going to be under source. So here's our assets file, right? So it's going to be under our mod ID, textures, GUI, alabaster oven. Right there. Booyah. So we've specified what the background is, but when you look at this, right, this is a 256 by 256 image. And we really only want to look at just this section right here. So what we'll do is we'll use our selection tool, and we need to get the X size of this, which is 176, and then we want to get the Y size, which is 166, so 176, 166, and then what we want to do is we actually want to come in right under here, and we want to say this dot X size is equal to 176. This dot Y size is going to be equal to 166. So if you've ever seen in mods where like the GUI is much larger than you're used to seeing, this is where it's at. 256 by 256 is kind of what you can use. Beware though, because some people, you have their UI jacked up to where it's huge. So you got to be careful with that. There's actually a method that we're missing here, and we need to actually go ahead and key that in now. So what we're going to have is public void draw GUI container for ground layer, and we will do int par1 int par2, like so. So what are we doing here? This is the foreground layer. So this is what's going to be laid on top of our GUI. One of the things that we're going to have on here is the name of this item, right? The second thing that we're going to have is the word inventory listed, right? If we let's see if it'll just let us run it with errors. Probably won't. Is it going to derp out on us? Oh no, it'll let us. We just won't go anywhere near that block. So if we actually come in here and we look at this furnace, we see furnace at the top and we see inventory down here, right? So that's part of the foreground that we have to draw. So what we need to do is, as you saw in furnace, it said furnace, we need to go out and actually get the name of what this bad boy is. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the name. We're going to declare a variable by the name of name, and it's going to be a string, and it's going to come from this dot alabaster oven dot has custom inventory name. Now this method hasn't been built yet, right? Alabaster oven is actually coming from entity. Entity is coming from what? The tile entity alabaster oven. So we actually hold over this, we see tile entity alabaster oven, and then we see what it's referenced to. GUI alabaster oven dot alabaster oven, right? But that's not there yet. We haven't built that yet. So we'll come back here in a little bit. Excuse me, we'll come back here in a little bit. We'll build that method into our tile entity. Equals that. This dot alabaster oven dot get inventory name else, and this is going to be I18n dot format, and it's actually going to be this dot alabaster oven dot get inventory name comma par1 array of object, and this will just be new object 0, like so. So couple of boo-boos in here, right? We've got to go over and we've got to create those methods, and we'll do that here in a little bit, so don't stress. So really what this is doing is it's going out and it's getting that name, so that way when we go to our GUI it'll say alabaster oven. Does that make sense? Just nod. Yes. Yes, totally, Nate. It totally does. This dot font renderer object dot drawstring I don't know which one of those to choose, so we're just going to type this out normal style. So this is where we're going to write out the name, and it is going to be this dot xsize divided by 2 minus this dot font renderer object dot get string width, and it's going to be the name, and it's going to be divided by 2, and it's going to be at 6, and then the color of it is going to be 4210752. That's the color white. So what is this? What is this whole line doing? Really what we're doing is we're writing the name alabaster oven, and it's going to be at the top of our GUI right here. So what we're doing is we're saying, hey, what we want to do is we want to say this dot x size divided by 2. So this dot x size divided by 2, 88. So we want it to be at 88. 88. And it would normally start right there and then go to the right. However, what we're doing is we're actually getting the width of the name, Alabaster Oven, and dividing that by 2. So really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing it right here, but it's going to be Alabaster over here, and then Oven further on. So the middle of Alabaster Oven is going to be in there at half the size of our x size. The next thing that we need to do is we need to write our inventory. So this dot font render object dot draw string. Again, I don't know which one of those to choose, so we're just going to do it manually. Type it out. This dot I, capital I, 18n dot format, and this will be container dot inventory, and it will be a new object array of 0, and it's going to be at 8, and it will be at this dot y size minus 96 plus 2. Now you're like, why are you doing minus 96 plus 2? Why don't you just do minus 94? You can do that. I'm just matching what the vanilla code has here. And honestly, if you want it to work right, make it like they made it. So what this is going to do is this is actually going to write inventory, the word inventory, starting at 8 on the x-axis, and then this dot y size essentially is going to go down 94. So what we'll do is we'll go down 94, 94. No, that takes us down into there. 94? This dot y size. Minus 96. What's our y size? 166 minus 94 is going to be 72. So it's going to take it down to 72, and it's going to be 8 in. You see what the problem is? There we go, 8. It's going to start writing it, and it's going to write it out here. Right? What we actually want to do is, we want it to be along that same level, but we don't want it to be over these containers. So rather than it being at 8, let's actually come out a bit further, and we'll have it start right here, which would be, let's do it at 130. No, 128. 128. Like so. Give that a save. And that pretty much takes care of this method here. Right? Set the resource location. Let's go over to our tile entity. If you actually hold your mouse over your tile entity right here, and you hold in your control button, you can click it, and it'll open that up. We need to build a couple of things in here because we want to get rid of these errors. This has custom inventory name and a get inventory name. So let's do that. Write meow. Yeah. Public string get inventory name. And this used to be something weird. It was like is in name when it was 164, but they kind of kind of tune all those up right now. So we're going to return this dot as customer as custom inventory name, and this dot localize name. Otherwise, we'll do container dot alabaster oven. You should always have, you know, what you used to have to do was this would go back and reference the language registry. You would actually go to your main modding class and you would write language registry, so on and so forth, container.alabaster oven, and then you give it a name. I'm not sure what it does now. Does it actually go to your lang file or not? I don't know. Right? I don't know. So I'm not entirely sure. It should always have a localized name though, so we should be okay. It says, of course, that we have that, so we need to create that method. So let's do that. It's public. It's Boolean. What we want to do is we want to return this dot localized name. It's not equal to null, and this dot localized name dot length is greater than 0, like so. Pretty sweet. So we do that, we come back here, we're going to notice that it says it's not public. It's not public. Let's make that public, so in that way this class can see it. Haha! Those are gone. Like what we see. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually create the number of slots. So we know that we have one slot, or I should say slot 0, slot 1, slot 2. 0, 1, 2 for a total, of course, of 3 slots altogether. So what we're going to do is we're going to create those slots right now. We're going to more or less come down here and we're going to say private item stack array, and we're going to name this item stack slots. It's going to be equal to a new item stack of 3, right, like so. I'm going to import those Minecraft item stacks, so we're good there. Now, what's the purpose of this, right? So we need to essentially tell this tile entity that we have 3 slots that we're going to be working with. And when we come back and actually do like a dual input furnace, this is going to be a 4 because we're going to have our 2 inputs, our fuel, and then our output, right? If we were to come back to this and say something like this, to where it has 2 inputs and then like an upgrade slot, that's going to be an item stack of 5 because you'll have an item, you have your upgrade slot, your fuel slot, your 2 inputs, excuse me, and then your output. So that would be 5. So you're going to see where we're going to be going with that. However, we're going to need to know how many slots that we have later on. I mean, we know, right? It's in our brains, but we need to make sure that the program knows, that this tile entity knows. So we are going to say public int get size inventory and really what we're going to return is this dot slots. So we just created that dot length, like so. So we're going to return this tile entity slots right here, length, slots, length. Be nice if it actually told us there. So what else do we want to do in tile entity? Let's actually do implements I-sided inventory. And we're going to import that. We have a whole ton of unimplemented methods, and we're going to get a couple of these out of the way right now. So the first ones that I always like to do are these: this open inventory, this close inventory. So we can actually just drag this up like that. We're going to drag this one up to here, and drag this one up to here. I'll actually put that down to the next line and get rid of override. We're going to get rid of override on pretty much all these. Let's finish up with our can insert item, can extract item. So we're gonna return some things on these. So let's return. Really, what is this can insert an item, can extract item? This is hoppers. Can a hopper insert an item into this? And we want to say yes, it can. However, we only want to do it if this is item valid for slot, and it's going to be I. Is it going to be I? It should be I. And what do those need to be? I like to be able to more easily identify what these are. Item stack. So is the item valid for the slot? What do we want to be able to insert items into? Well, we want to be able to insert items into here, right? Into our fuel slot. We also want to be able to insert items into our inventory, like what's being worked. And what we will do is we'll work on this a little bit later on the get accessible slots from sides, this one right here, but essentially we want a hopper to be able to drop items in from the top of the block into here, and then we want to be able to insert items from the side with here, and then when we get to extract, we want to be able to extract this item from either the side or the bottom. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't stress. Don't geek out on me. We'll get to it. Most important thing is that you understand, what each of these methods is doing. That's really what this is all about. I don't want you just writing what I'm typing up here. I want you to understand this. I want you to be a more powerful programmer. I want you to be a more powerful modder. I'm waxing eloquent on you right now. Item stack J. You know what I mean, though? I mean, I'm not trying to get all cheesy on you, right? Not I. So if the slot equals 0, if the slot does not equal 0, right? We don't want to go extracting items out of this. We don't want to go extracting items out of this. This is 0. This is 1, right? And so if J, so slot is not equal to 0, or, and remember these guys, if you hold down shift and you hit that slash key right above your enter key, you'll see the long vertical line there. This is or. So as long as the slot does not equal 0, slot, or the slot does not equal 1, or item stack dot get item is equal to items dot bucket. So you can extract anything as long as it's not out of that slot, it's not out of that slot, and it's not a bucket. Don't extract the bucket. And that pretty much does it. We covered a lot of stuff in this episode. I packed a lot into the 25 minutes that we've been working on this, but the tile entities, like the real meat and potatoes of what's going on in this bad boy. So it's important. We still have a lot of to-dos in here, but you'll see that our errors are dwindling. We still have this one persistent one, but we haven't even touched our container yet. So we're going to need to do that. And we don't want to do it here. We're going to do it in our actual container. So, that being said, this is Neil. This is what? Episode 4? Yep, episode 4. I'm going to get this uploaded. We're going to move on to episode 5. Thanks. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you're doing. Reach out to me, right? Via Skype, via email, whatever you want. Reach out to me. Let me know how you're doing. I'm more than happy to help you out. Thanks, everybody. You make it happen. We'll see you in the next episode.